Hey everyone, we are playing some Star Wars Destiny on Tabletop Simulator, and this is, we're going to do some regionals testing. There's upcoming Seattle regionals in about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, and recently Portland regionals was won by Honda, and we're excited for that deck. I'm really excited for that deck. So, a friend and I, who are going to be doing some rigorous testing, have decided to try out some of his decks and against the top of Portland. And so, introduce you to the Jumping Flea, a friend of mine named Matt. And so, we will do a couple games. I think we're going to do best of three, or maybe even more, depending on how things go. So let's see. My opening hand is kind of miserable. I'm going to keep the fast hands. Defensive positions get shuffled back immediately. Probably keep the electroshock. I don't really want the planetary uprising right away. This deck doesn't really want to be tossing its credits away for planetary uprising turn one, even though that's kind of okay. Like getting some damage on is fine, but this is a much better draw. So now we have fast hands, pose blaster. Retreat is kind of a dead card. I'm actually thinking about cutting it from the deck. This version just has one. This is the revision by the author of the deck, whose name escapes me at the moment, but I will link the deck list in the below description. I have a really terrible roll-off. I get a 1, and a Yoda Zeb is our opponent. The main idea of this deck is it's a choke deck that also functions as an aggro deck. So you have Hondo, who restricts them on credits, much like the old fast hands Vader did when you could put fast hands on Vader. You can't do that anymore. But they function very similarly in that you put fast hands on Hondo, he has a 2 disrupt, you can disrupt his stuff, and then you can claim on Throne Room to do 3 damage. And then if you also have things like Pose Blaster, which is just a busted card, you get to do even more damage. So you have a potential of doing easily turn 1 kills on strength or health 8 guys, 7 guys, sometimes 9. Well, actually 9 is pretty reasonable. My opponent is shielding up Yoda, which I think is smart. I have to go find the blaster die because it never loads in TTS. And about ready to start. He plays friends in low places, excuse me. It's probably going to take the electroshock. Yep. That's a smart play. Really, that's the only card that he cares about. Well connected gives him an extra card, though it gives me a resource. He probably welcomes that. Well connected is quite good. I think it's on par with Truce. Truce has more of a surprise factor, but well connected might actually be the better card on the whole because it doesn't give the other opponent resources. It's definitely better in this deck because you don't want to be giving your opponent resources. You want to take them away. So we're going to roll out Hondo, get some... Oh, we see the 2 disrupt. We're going to disrupt his resources. Already off to a great start. Matt's considering his options. I think here... Let's see, what is up with Yoda's die? It's all cockeyed. It's discarding to reroll, I think. Yep, here we go. So it didn't really matter what Yoda's die said. Now he got a disrupt and a special. That seems pretty good, actually. I don't think that's bad at all. Having a special on Yoda is good. It lets you fix Zeb's dice. So we're going to roll out with Poe. See what we get. Blank, blank, blank. Wonderful. It's the best. I don't think we could have rolled better than that, really. Would have been awful if he had easy pickings. But what can you do? Even if we rolled a special, he could have easy pickings to our Hondo. So it might have been wiser to use the Hondo special and wait. We're going to discard and just go for some damage here. We do hit some damage. It's not great. Resource, I believe it's a +2 or a 2 ranged and a blank. Oh, It's a 1, excuse me. So far away. So not a great turn 1 for us. We haven't done any damage. He's got some resources. He did not pay for his Vibrant Knife. There we go. All taken care of, no problem. Rolls out resource blank, 1 melee. Not ideal. We're going to start doing some damage to Yoda now. So we'll do Hondo Special. He'll take 3 because he can't pay us. Now the big question is he going to roll or just be content with like doing 1 damage and then claiming? Because I think here we might just claim to do 3. Or we could discard to reroll, which is also a good idea. We don't really want any of those things. Extra resources, fine, but we will have plenty of resources soon enough. Looks like my opponent is re-rolling a couple of Zeb dice. The Zeb is 50% to do damage, but he's only 33% when you have no resources, which means that he's a little bit tricky to play. And I think discarding the Truce there was a mistake, because the Truce could have got him 4 damage on the table right there. So we had a double focus, a blank, and a +2. That is just remarkable. I think here we go for, we're going to focus with Poe's die and go for the special and the 2 damage. We have to do that. That's 5 damage on the table. It puts Yoda at half-life. Poe's going to take some damage, but that's okay. It doesn't look like he has any way of interacting. Otherwise, he probably would have done so. So we'll take 4, then we'll hit him for 3 first. The special. Probably doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Can't deflect. He doesn't have any resources, even if he had it. He's going to claim. We're going to do 2 more and put him at 5. So Yoda down half-life, and we are looking pretty decent. The trick with this deck is to just focus damage as much as possible and try to get those resources off the table from the opponent. So we'll see what our opponent does round 2. Getting a little bit of lag here, but that's okay. Okay, so you put down a Ancient Lightsaber. We're going to put down a Cunning on Hondo. This is ideal because Cunning can copy Poe's Blaster, and because Poe's Blaster is attached to Poe, it does 3. So Cunning just becomes an extra Poe's Blaster. That's a pretty good roll for him. If he had Force Speed, though, it would be even better because you could chain into Force Speed, roll out Zeb, focus Zeb, etc., etc. So, okay, here we go with just a bunch of garbage. I think here we're going to fast hands the focus, and we'll focus the Cunning into the special. This forces him to have some sort of removal, or he's taking 3 more damage. If he rolls out with Zeb, we're in good shape. Poe could die this turn. Poe is definitely within the range of death. So he hits a bunch of crap, a bunch of shields, resources. We don't care about that. We'll just do 3 to Yoda. Now, if he takes a resource, we roll out Poe. If he takes a resource to block Hondo Special. If he does not, if he chooses to just re-roll, we're probably just going to claim and kill the Yoda. Yoda's specials effectively fix all of Zeb's dice and give him the resources he needs to do the 3 for 1. So if we can just kill Yoda now, we will be great. I was thinking about it. He's looking at his hand, so I'm guessing he's going to re-roll. What should we think about? So that's basically our line right now, is we could claim to kill Yoda. We will miss out some damage, but my biggest worry is that he chains specials, gains 2 shields, fixes his dice, does more damage, kills Poe anyway, and has shields on Yoda. that could be the worst case scenario. So right now, I actually think he should chain Yoda specials, gain shields, and fix his dice. That's probably his best play. And it looks like, yep, he seems to acknowledge this is not the right line, but I think he's going to see what happens, but he'll be very disappointed here in a second. We just want to get Yoda off the table. With Yoda off the table, Zeb's 3 side is really, really bad. So we're just going to do that. I mean, I'm just sort of thinking about it. Do I roll out Poe? If I roll out Poe, it'd be fine, but potential to lose Poe and not get any damage off anyway. So we're going to take the shot, take the chance, and we're just going to claim and kill Yoda. Killing Yoda round 2 feels great. Yeah, I think we have to kill Yoda. I think that's the smart play. Even if Poe dies, there's a chance he doesn't die. He needs 7 damage, which isn't unheard of. So he has a max of 9 damage, so he has to hit slightly above average. So let's see what he does here. Getting just a tad of lag on TTS. TTS is a little bit fiddly today. So he gets the +2, but he hits a 3 range, or 3, damage on okay. So he has a resource. So he's take the resource. And then he's going to do us lethal on Poe, which sadly, it's fine. Whatever. It's not great. We lose the Poe's blaster, which is a big shame here. But Hondo is going to have a DL44 next turn. He's got second chance backup. We are well connected, and we have an X8. So, and some removal. We are actually looking pretty good. So right here I'm thinking that if I play the DL44, I'm not going to get any value out of its removal ability. So I'm just going to well connected and gain a resource, anticipating that later in the turn I'm going to have to play my DL44. But then my line's going to be play X8, leaving a resource up for electroshock if needed, and that gives me more options. So, well, here's friends in low places. Well, that takes away my options. So it looks like my line is much more clear. He's going to take my electroshock, and I'm going to be left with an X8. That's okay. That's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. So my plan now is to X8 and roll out and hit some damage, and then possibly disrupt his resources, claim, do a bunch of stuff, hopefully get that DL44 out this turn after he rolls out, and restrict his options. So we'll play this X8, roll out. And I get the special. I get a blank, so we're going to special him. There's no other option. My other dice are pretty miserable. So I'm going to get a resource. This is great because the X8 is effectively 3 damage. I can turn it either side. Oh, well, okay. Easy Pickings is going to eliminate that option. So Easy Pickings, such a good card, such a strong card from this latest set. I'm going to pass because he hasn't even rolled out. He does know I have a DL44, so if he rolls out, he's going to lose a die. I'm going to claim and do some damage. He's already used all his money, so we're guaranteed 3 damage this turn. But if he can only do a max of, depending on which die he removes, 7. 7's the max he can hit. Because he has no resources. He's going to remove 1 die, so he's going to have 3 dice. The high on each die is, let's see, on Zeb it's a 3 and a 2 on the Viper Knife. So his best roll is probably like 2 on Zeb, 2 on Zeb, 3 on Ancient for 7. He's not going to have any other resources otherwise. But this is an important turn because of knowing how much damage I'm going to probably take, or max damage I could take. It lets me set up for the next turn. So I'm going to, my line is pretty much set in stone. I'm going to DL44 over the X8. Not going to play the second chance. I'm just holding it for whatever reason. But I'm going to play the DL44 and overwrite the X8 and then claim and do 3. So we'll put him at 9 health. Take our damage and claim. And do 3 damage. So it's not terrible. It's actually a pretty good turn for us, all said and done. So he's got 3 damage, max 7 damage he can do, and we are going to roll out first with Cunning, DL44, Fast Hands. We're looking pretty good, and we have a second chance in hand. And first roll he hits 4 damage. That's kind of ideal. Okay, well, let's hope he doesn't hit the +3. Okay, he hits the +3, so that's 7 damage. Well, that's knowing the max we could hit, or he could hit, and he hit it. So not much I could do about that. That's simply how the game works. So we'll reset. Wondering if he wanted to use Ancient, so I'm just giving him time. I don't think he does. Okay, he feels pretty safe at 9 damage, or 9 health. So here we go. Now we've got a really strong hand that's going to... I think this is a perfect draw. So we have the Planetary. So we can roll out, fast hand something. We can easy picking something, and then we can claim. It's not unreasonable that's how the turn's going to go. Ideally, because he's got money, we want to fast hands the DL. If we can fast hands 3 on DL, we put him at 6 damage, which puts him at half health. And then we can basically claim for 5. Potentially, if he plays anything. We're going to easy pickings these resources. It's just the best thing we can do here. We just want to get some potential damage off the table. Getting the Vibra Knife gone is very good. He has 1 damage showing. Not really worried about that. Even if he had something wonky like so he's going to do 1 damage. If he had something weird like my ally is the Force, he can only do 2, and so we're fine. So we're just gonna roll out, see what we hit. Do hit the 3 on the DL. That's really good. So we're gonna do 3 with the DL. Then we have Hondo Special, Cunning's on a Disrupt, and then Hondo's other is a 1 focus. So what's our line here? Our line is going to be discard, hit and run's useless. We could focus to the Cunning. I think we're going to focus to the Cunning. That's got to be the best play here. The other option, so focus Cunning, what's going to happen is he's going to block 3. Actually, our best play here is just to claim and do 5. Because what's going to happen is if we focus to the Cunning, he's going to claim. We're not going to get the... Oh, we're going to disrupt first. Okay, actually, this is correct. We're going to disrupt first, see what he does. Now, we're just showing 3 plus the 2 from Planetary. He has a shield. He probably isn't going to claim because he wants to keep up Ancient. So now we're just going to claim, doing 5 damage, putting him at 10. And that is 2 away from death, so he's going to have to Ancient. Well, not 10, he's going to block 3. So he'll block the 3 with the illusion, and he'll take 2. So he'll effectively just be at 7 damage, which is still good. So he's going to block. He's going to roll this back and block the 3. There's no way he couldn't. Going to 10 is ridiculous. There's no reason. Yeah. And then he'll heal. So he'll go back to 5. But we're making headway. That's what we want. We just want to put lots and lots of pressure so that Ancient goes away. That's more damage that goes away. So we're constantly going to be ramping up the damage with Planetary. We don't need anything in our hand except for Second Chance, and we don't really need it right now. We're not threatened too much. Okay, so he uses the Ancient. And we're going to reset. So going into the next round, what we're looking for is possibly another DL for an overwrite remove. Or we can find Second Chances, defensive positions. All of those are fine cards. One might be tempted to Field Medic right now, but there's no way that our opponent can instant kill us from this situation, so we're not really threatened. We're just going to get ahead of him and roll out. We can fast hand something. What do we get here? We get the 2 Disrupt, so we're going to take the 2 Disrupt and basically strand his removal if he had any in hand. At this point, there's an issue with my video recording software, and something happened, like it froze up, but the audio continued playing. So I'll just kind of fill in what happened. So I disrupt his resources, and then he rolls out, and I shoot him for 3 with the DL44. I discard a card from his hand, re-roll into one of the Cunning special, deal 3, and then I'm just within a claim to kill him. So he has to claim, and so he claims, and then next turn I just roll out and hit the 3 on the DL44 and kill him. So there's not much to say here other than that's how it ended, which is sort of anticlimactic, and I apologize for that. But then that's sort of how it worked. Hondo and Poe do take this round, and we'll be back for the next one. Thanks a lot, everyone.